Can you hear me if I just talk like this? Is that okay? Awesome. Okay, so I should apologize. This is probably going to be a little bit awkward because I've just written a 20-minute speech about how Kaitlyn loves to cook and Kevin loves to eat. So maybe if everyone just wants to talk amongst themselves, then I'll try to burn through this. No, honestly, I'm really, really actually honored. I'm just going to jump right into the middle of my speech if I don't take a peek at it. If you haven't met me before, I've had the pleasure of meeting you guys. I'm Kevin's brother, Mike. You might remember me as the guy that rudely snubbed him at his ceremony earlier today. Walked right past him. No big deal. Sorry about that, Kev. That was a little bit awkward. But in a way, it might have been a good thing because it kind of took the edge off me for right now because I've already kind of screwed up. So really, you guys aren't probably expecting too much from this speech after that. So I think it might make it a little bit easier to get through this. I'm actually a pretty quiet, fairly shy guy, so talking in front of all of you right now is making me a little bit uncomfortable. But hopefully I'll get a scotch after this and calm down. So what did I want to say? Kevin asked me to be his best man about, well, it was over a year ago now. I was actually at cousin Matt and his lovely wife Ivana's wedding in Jamaica. Classic sort of Mitchell, or at least the Dan Mitchell trait, to take all the emotion out of pretty much any moment. He asked me, we were sitting outside the pool at the resort in Jamaica, and he leaned over in his deck chair, and he just very casually said, so you can be my best man? It was much the same way if we were playing a game like Go Fish and he asked me if I had any threes. It was pretty much exactly like that. So naturally I kind of turned to him and said, that sounds good. Same way I said, actually I've got 2 threes. Basically, exactly like that. So that's pretty standard, kind of really no emotion at all between the two of us. But that was, so like I said, that was roughly, well, it was more than a year ago now, right? Anniversary would have been not too long ago, maybe? Sorry guys, what was I going to say? So I've had over a year to prepare this speech, and I procrastinated until about mid last week or so, and I started putting some ideas down, and I was actually in the town of Perth, and my lovely girlfriend Laura was getting her hair did. And I just sat there in a pub in Perth and started writing down some notes and things. And my first Heineken turned into 5, and I've actually really enjoyed that time sitting there trying to come up with things to share with everybody, and really kind of sunk in how much of an honor it is to be here, and how amazing our family is, and to be a part of it. I really feel quite lucky. Unfortunately, I had to rewrite most of the speech that I wrote because after about 4 or 5 beers, it really didn't make a heck of a lot of sense. So I've got a drunken version and then the sober version that I was kind of nervously running around today trying to put in my iPhone here. The sober version is the one that I'm going to try and share with you guys now. So, the groomsmen, I'd like to start by saying, I don't know all of them all that well. As you guys have heard through the introductions there, they've all been friends of Kevin's for a really long time, and really close buddies. So it's even more of an honor really to be chosen as a best man, considering he's got these wonderful friends up there beside him as well. I know I kind of got the brother default, but that's okay, I'll take it. The one groomsman that I know the best is Jason Colby. Great guy. I had the opportunity to work with him for 7 years at the unnamed company that he's mentioned before. And he honestly is probably one of the nicest guys, greatest guys you'll ever meet. And so I think it says a lot about Kevin that Jason chose him to be his best man. And Kevin's been best man of another one of his buddies, and I think all these guys have sort of been groomsmen for each other and everything else. So great group of friends, and I look forward to getting to know you guys a little bit more in the future. We had a really good time at the bachelor party. Thanks for your help planning and everything. It was a really good time. that's sort of when I really got to know some of these guys. So, where am I here? Well, I was going to say, actually, Jason is such an amazing person that I was going to talk about him for about 20 minutes, but I thought that might get a little bit weird for everybody. So. But for the record, great guy. Really great. And I was also just going to say, these guys, no matter where this wedding was held, be it in London or in Calgary, where we're all from and everything, they definitely wouldn't miss the opportunity to be here alongside Kevin and Kaitlyn. So. Actually, I guess I should also say thank you to Kevin and Kaitlyn for choosing this as the venue, because being able to see all the family that I don't get an opportunity to see very often out east, it's really, really perfect. So thanks to you guys. So Kevin, I should say a few words about you, maybe. It's fair to say that we're a lot closer now in the last 5 to 7 years or so than we were before. Yeah. So, and I want to say that that's not really a lack of effort on my part. As a kid, as a kid growing up, I wanted to be included in pretty much anything that Kevin was doing, no matter how boring that may have been. Playing with Legos or something in his room or whatever it was, I wanted his attention and I wanted to be playing with him. And in his defense, I probably went about it in not the best way possible. Typically what I'd do is I'd be fresh off watching a Van Damme movie and I'd burst into his room, roundhouse kicking him, that kind of thing, just being all up in his face while he's trying to do something. And I guess I figured that if I kicked him enough times, I might make him fun. No, I'm serious. He was really boring. Unfortunately, that didn't really work. It just led to Kevin locking his bedroom door, and then there was the Van Damme embargo in our house in 1989. Everybody pretty much wasn't allowed to watch any Van Damme movies for a very long time. But I'd say probably the TSN turning point, if I may use that phrase, of our relationship was, I don't know what year it was, but for Christmas, Kevin would have been, I think, probably junior high or something. It would have been, I'm going to say 92 or 93. And Kevin had asked for, I'm pretty sure it was a junior high school ring for graduating junior high, pretty sure. And so who knows why this was important to him, but he really wanted this ring, and it probably cost our parents like $500 or something. So obviously, to balance things out, I needed a pretty sweet Christmas gift. They got him this, and so I got a Sega Genesis for Christmas back in '92ish. And if you guys don't know, it's basically a Super Nintendo. Back in the day, it was kind of like the Bush League Nintendo, if you will. But it was brilliant because it was the turning point of our relationship, because at that point he's looking at his ring and my Sega Genesis and going, what did I do? This is the biggest mistake of my life. And so now he wanted to play with me because I had the video game console, and he had to ask me in order to play it, and so I kind of got what I was looking for. I got to play with him all the time, and he was great. We went on road trips a lot when we were growing up. My parents dragged us all over North America pretty much, and we had a TV in our van, so we could actually play this Sega Genesis in the van as we were driving around. So Kevin and I would be playing hours and hours of video games, riding around in the van. Meanwhile, Mount Rushmore or the Grand Canyon or Passing, we're not really interested in that, but just focused on our video games. And it was great. We really bonded, I think, a lot on those trips and playing games and stuff. And then at some point, and I don't know exactly when this happened, but Kevin really got interested, like he really took it to the next level, no pun intended, with video games. And he got into role-playing games and Dungeons and Dragons and that kind of stuff. Oh, sorry. You guys don't notice? He's a huge nerd. Anyway, like I said, I don't know exactly when that sort of happened, but I know that I was old enough and cool enough to realize that it wasn't cool. So that was about the time that I stopped really trying to hang out with him. And then there was sort of a gap in our brotherhood for a little while, where he went away to university in Lethbridge, and I was still in Calgary. And when he came back, I was off traveling the world for a year or more, and then I went down the Lethbridge, and so there was a lot of time, say a 5-year period or so, where we didn't really see much of each other. And so it was really good when we sort of reunited, I guess, working for this company that, again, will just remain unnamed. It was sort of the time where we got to know each other again, and there was such a significant period of our lives where we weren't really that close necessarily. And so getting to know each other again when we were 25 kind of thing, we really found out that although we probably thought we were pretty different growing up, there's just a... Oops.
He's drunk.
Everybody's okay? There's actually just a ton of similarities between Kevin and I. And I think it was really good. We got to sort of bond again and talked about some things, and found out that really we're pretty much the same dude. Definitely a little nerdier still than I ever was. But we shared a lot of the same interests. Both really, really low-key guys, easygoing, fairly quiet, and pretty ignorant about politics and the general ways of the world, really. But we love a good action flick, and we have a pretty decent sense of humor, I think. And we have horrible, horrible memories. So it makes it easy when we're talking to each other because we can just make stuff up, and neither one of us is sure what actually happened. So. And probably, I want to say probably the biggest similarity maybe that we kind of learned about each other when we sort of had this, we were reunited around 25, back working in an office together, is, and I know ladies, this is going to be really hard to believe, but we are pathetic with women, really, really bad. Like high school, university, next to no dates, just really struggled, really struggled. So I think that's just, so people that know Kevin, that really makes this day just extra special. And I'll just sort of wrap this up now. I honestly could not be happier that he's found you. That was close. I almost got choked up there. So she's so kind and generous and sweet, and just such a pleasure to be around all the time. And I think the most important thing is just how happy you make Kevin. So I'm probably going to start crying, so I'll leave it there. On behalf of myself and the groomsmen, thanks so much for including us on this very special day. And I wish you guys all the happiness in the world. And if I had a glass, I would say to Kevin and Kate.